Oh boy, we have the IRS asking Tea Party groups to prove that they're actually engaged in social welfare, which the IRS code, the actual law, Section 501c3 and Section 501c4 require that you exclusively engage in social welfare. The IRS rules by which they administer those laws say that you must principally engage in social welfare. And apparently, back in 2010, if you were applying for 501c3 or 501c4 status for a few months, if your name had Tea Party or Patriot in it, because there were so many of these groups just like coming out of the woodwork, this group of low-level employees at the IRS office in Cincinnati or Cleveland in Ohio said, okay, set those, take a look at those, give them a little extra scrutiny, because that doesn't sound like social welfare to me. So let's find out. Is the Tea Party a social welfare group? Judson Phillips is an attorney and the founder of the Tea Party Nation, the website teapartynation.com. Judson, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tom. Good to be back with you.
Thank you. I think everybody knows about liberal groups that are all about social welfare, liberal groups that are doing things like running soup kitchens or that are running educational programs or programs for abused kids, or liberal groups that are incorporated specifically to lobby for things like more widespread educational access. These things all seem to me fairly clearly to be social welfare. In fact, I would argue that social welfare and liberal are kind of interchangeable terms. Why would a Tea Party group that is arguing to keep taxes low on billionaires and people like Paris Hilton and Mitt Romney, and that wants to prevent us from doing anything about the gun problem in this country, and maybe you can identify some other things that the Tea Party groups are standing for overtly. I mean, those are the two things that come to mind. What do either of those things have to do with the social welfare of the United States?
Well, for starters, quote, social welfare doesn't just apply to, quote, liberals. I know many conservative groups that work soup kitchens, do other things like that, do programs to feed the poor.
But the Tea Party?
People are sick. Not Tea Party groups, no, but Tea Party.
Okay, so what does the Tea Party do that is? What does the Tea Party do that is social welfare that should make it qualify for 501c3 or C4 status?
The Tea Party does basically what's the same thing that a lot of groups on the left do. They advocate for public policies that are good for the United States of America.
In their opinion.
And, in their opinion, the left opines that theirs are good for America too. So it's a two-way street.
Right. So can you identify some of those policies, Judson? What policy actually enhances the social welfare of a poor person from Tennessee, watching us right now or listening on the program, and the only job they can find is as a greeter at Walmart. They're struggling to get by. The Republicans in Congress, this new farm bill, the Republicans in the House of Representatives want to cut $21 billion in food stamps out, so they won't be able to feed their kids. They want to do away with food programs for the schools. They want to dial back on long-term unemployment if the fellow's wife or the husband just has been unemployed for a while. How does any of this help that person? Let's say that person is the social whose welfare is being defined. What would you do? How is a Tea Party helping that person?
What the Tea Party is doing is by advocating programs that work, like less government, lower taxes. We want everybody to have jobs. I don't want anybody to be on welfare. I want them to all be employed.
Okay, let's just get this very clear. Let's be very explicit about it. So you're saying that less government, lower tax. So if David Koch and Charles Koch and Mitt Romney and Paris Hilton pay less taxes, that's somehow going to help that unemployed family in Tennessee who's trying to make it on food stamps and unemployment?
So if a mom and pop business can have their taxes cut and have the regulations.
Mom and pop businesses don't pay taxes, Judson.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. Do you run a small business? Have you ever run a small business?
Yes.
Don't you at the end of every year say, okay, we needed to buy a printer all year long. We've got a $3,000 profit left over that we're going to have to pay taxes on. So let's just buy the damn printer at the end of the year. Don't you do that?
The IRS rules allow you a certain number of years where you can declare losses, but there are a certain number of years you have to make a profit, or if you do not, the IRS comes down on you.
Yeah, they say you're a hobby, not a business, but you can show a profit of $100, and you're not going to pay any taxes on that for all kind, of any consequence.
If you cut taxes, cut taxes for Google, for example. I'm going to pick a big company. If Google can have their taxes cut by, pick a random number here, $10 million. How much of that money can go to hire new employees?
None of it.
That's it.
Google only hires employees when they need them, and they hire them regardless of what their taxes are. What raising or lowering their taxes will do is raise or lower the dividend that they pay to their stockholders, and well over 80% of all the stock in the United States is held by the top 1%.
Even so, what? I mean.
So you're not helping that guy in Tennessee who's on unemployment and food stamps, and his kids are getting their meals at the local school. He's not a stockholder in Google.
Sure you are. When you cut taxes, it works every time. When you cut taxes, the economy grows.
33 years of Reaganomics here, Judson. We've been cutting taxes for 33 years. The economy sucks.
Reagan cut taxes, a massive tax cut.
Yes.
And look what happened. We went from the Depression of the Carter era to the boom of the 80s.
Actually, the 70s was the last decade that we had over 3% GDP growth for an entire decade. It was the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. The only 3 decades in the history of the United States when we had over 3% GDP growth. It dropped below 3% during the decade that Reagan was president, and Reagan tripled our national debt. So to the extent that we didn't have a depression during Reagan, although we did have the biggest, as you will probably recall, the biggest stock market crash and the biggest spike in unemployment. Unemployment went up to 12% under Ronald Reagan. And we had the biggest stock market crash since 1929, and he wallpapered that over by borrowing $2 trillion and spending it. Back at that time, I was running around saying, you give me a $2 trillion credit card, I'll show you what it looks like to live large. That's not fixing an economy. That's borrowing and spending. That's the stuff that you guys are supposed to be opposed to.
When Reagan cut taxes, when Reagan came into office, unemployment was at 12%.
No, it wasn't.
It's about a year for anything. Tom, I lived through that era.
So did I.
I dropped out of college, and I was working in radio at the time, an experience you can relate to, getting paid all the T-shirts you can eat. Yeah. And I was trying to make ends meet watching gas prices under Carter go up literally every day, going to the grocery store.
Well, after the Arab oil embargo, of course.
It wasn't just the Arab oil embargo. It was the poor management, the pitiful management of the Carter era. When we got in under Reagan.
So you want to turn this into a fight about Reagan and Carter? I have not heard, Judson, anything about how a Tea Party group is a social welfare group. I'm not hearing it.
Tea Party groups are as much social welfare groups as some of the groups on the left. Let's say
if there's a group on the left,
Media Matters.
Okay.
Media Matters is set up as a 501c4, just like some of the Tea Party groups.
Right.
What does Media Matters do? Media Matters goes around like smearing people and acts as the media.
Media Matters mostly goes around outing lies told on Fox News and on right-wing media, and I would agree with you that that's probably not a social welfare group. I think that the IRS needs to tighten up these guidelines.
No, I've got a better idea. Let's abolish Section 501 of the Revenue Code altogether. I have a huge problem. These ideas.
Do away with all the nonprofits.
Do away with all of them.
Okay.
At least the people.
Other than, what are you going to do about schools or communities for abused kids, stuff like that? You don't want to do those on a for-profit basis, do you?
No, but you know what? You don't need the nonprofit status to be able to raise funds or do any number of things.
Okay. Judson Phillips, TeaPartyNation.com.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Thanks for dropping by, Judson. We'll have to delve into this deeper next time. Thanks for dropping by.
Hey, thank you, Tom. We'll see you later.
Talk to you soon.